I am here with Deborah Leshever. She runs this gorgeous shop, Bohemian Exchange, and you can find her Etsy site online soon at bohemianexchange.com. Deborah is also .org. Thank you. Deborah is a member of Occupy Venice, and I actually ran into Deborah in her shop yesterday, and we were just talking about some of the changes you're seeing here in Venice with the economic downturn and the increasing gap between the very wealthy and the rest of us. So what changes are you seeing in Venice?
Well, I mean, I've been coming to Venice for about 40 years, and the changes always have been coming, and a lot of the changes have been really good. Like, it used to be a lot of gang presence and that kind of thing. Now there's not as much of that, but then on the other side, what we're seeing is a huge gentrification problem. So basically, one gentleman in the community who considers himself an urban planner, and he represents some very wealthy landowners. He's decided to take it upon himself to have a plan for Venice, which basically, step by step, is going to turn it into a private gated community. And that's what we're absolutely trying to avoid. Abbot Kinney made this the People's Beach. He called it that, and that's what it's always been. That's what it's always been loved for. We get 16 million visitors a year, even some people say more than Disneyland, because of our culture. And what is happening now, because Google has moved in, and GQ wrote this article saying that we were the hippest street in America. It's really changed the culture. Now everybody wants to be on the street. People are just coming. They don't really care about our culture. They're trying to just change it into, and make money off of it. So I'm calling it slash and burn gentrification, because that's really what it feels like. Nobody's planning this. Nobody's thinking about it. It's just a land grab, and it's, there's some activists in the community that are just trying to make sure that we keep our flavor as we continue to evolve, because we don't want it to stay the same. We know it's going to change, but let's take a breath and really think about this and do, thoughtful change rather than just sporadic, insane changes.
So Google actually has an office in Venice?
Yeah. Google has the Binocular building up on Main Street. They're buying up properties. A lot of properties. They're bringing a lot of people in. Some people are calling it Silicon Beach.
Wow.
Which is tearing my heart out. And, I've done some investigating into what happened up in Silicon Valley with them, and really the gap between the wealthy and the non-wealthy up there has been huge. It's devastated the community up there. It's made so many people poor. It's taken down all the family-run businesses, and I just don't want to see that happen here. Google said they moved here because they live the culture. Well, let's keep the culture, happening then.
So you're seeing a lot of changes since they've moved in?
Yeah. Abbot Kinney in particular has just, it's a game of musical chairs. Everybody's moving, J. Crew is shopping the street, Lucky Brand is already in, Kiehl's and other, really big organizations are trying to come in, and we don't want the big chain stores. We want to keep it nice.
We're on Abbot Kinney right now, and I've been walking up and down, and it's very upscale.
Very upscale now.
How long has it been, or when did it become so upscale?
Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, when I came on the street, it wasn't like this at all. It was very small shops, galleries, some designers, but mostly just, little boutiques with really interesting things. And that's why Abbot Kinney got popular. And then we did the Abbot Kinney Festival, and that brought a lot of people to the street, and it really got well known, and that really exploded the street. We had First Fridays, which was a great time when we had wine and cheese and music in the store and fashion shows and parties, and everybody out went and vied for the best party that night and stuff, and it was so much fun, and the community loved it, and all our customers loved it. And then the food trucks moved in, and then it became Food Truck Friday. And now none of the neighbors come, none of the customers come. It's just a bunch of kids out there, and that just want to spend $5. It's really sad.
Well, and what's interesting is people who don't live in LA and people in San Francisco, you hear this a lot, like, oh, Venice Beach, it's that. It's Venice Beach has this, there's a lot of stereotypes about it, right?
Yeah.
And the sort of dudes working out and all of that.
Right.
But talk a little bit about what's under that. Like, what makes Venice to you so special?
It's the diversity. It's the people. It's the heart here. This is a really deeply heart community. The real center of our community is Oakwood Park, which is was the black community. It was actually all the servants of the people that lived when Abbot Kinney was alive on the canals. the servants were not allowed to live in that area, so they came over here. And so Oakwood Park is really the heart of our community, but that's being taken away into, you know, Google land and stuff like that. So a lot of the people that have been pushed out of the community right now are the artists that have made Venice Boardwalk what it is today. The art, the music, just the crazy wildness, you know. Everybody gets a story when they go to the boardwalk, whether it's a wonderful story or like, story. At least they come home with a great story, and that's why they come here.
Yeah.
It's edgy, it's different, it's unique, it's flavorful, it's really juicy community. And unfortunately, those people that have made Venice what it is are being pushed out because they can't afford the rents. And now they're, you know, some of them have resorted to living in their cars.
Wow.
And that's what this overnight parking district thing is really bad. They're trying, that's the only reason for it. It's not going to help any parking problems in Venice. The only thing it's going to do is it's going to push people out that are living in their cars.
So they want to require everyone to have a permit who parks overnight.
Yes, every single person that parks overnight in Venice is going to, well, except for a few, you know, parking lots and stuff like that down by the beach, are going to be required to have a parking permit. If you don't put it in the window, if you don't get one, it's $68. You can't have someone spend the night just spontaneously. You have to go down to Beverly Hills and get a guest permit. And it's just other communities that have it hate it. And there's no reason for it except for the gentrification.
Who's pushing it?
It's this man named Mark Ryavec, and he's the self-appointed leader of the Venice Stakeholders Association, which is a very small group of developers in the community that are, first they closed the boardwalk, illegal closure from midnight to 5 a.m., which our California Constitution specifically says that each person in California must have coastal access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's absolutely illegal. They did it unilaterally without the California Coastal Commission's permission, and now they're suing the California Coastal Commission to get this OPD thing passed. But they've already said this is only the first step. Then there's going to be preferential parking all during the day. Then there's going to be, you know, other things. They want to clean up Venice and push everybody out that doesn't make $1 million.
You know what's been amazing to me? We have just a few minutes left. I've been doing interviews and, you know, everywhere from Venice to Beverly Hills. The contrasts could not be starker. You know, in Venice, you barely have trees and all the buildings are gray. I mean, no offense to anyone who lives there.
No, it's true.
But then you go to Beverly Hills and it's all these gorgeous parks and trees everywhere and color. I mean, it's just the inequality is so striking.
It really is.
What are you seeing here in terms of that? And also, what about the homeless population?
Well, one big controversy is that, I mean, Los Angeles has the largest homeless population in the country. And it also has the meanest criminalizing, you know, laws against the homeless as well. It's considered the meanest city in the country for that reason. And what's been happening here, like for instance, we have, I think, 12 bathrooms, public bathrooms total in Venice, and they're all on the boardwalk, and there's no other public restrooms for 16 million visitors a year, plus all the people that live here and are walking around and doing their business. So, of course, the homeless people don't have anywhere to go to the bathroom. The bathrooms are closed at like 6 or 8 o'clock at night, and they don't reopen until 8 o'clock in the morning. What are humans supposed to do, or any animals? So, you know, people get upset because they're pooping in their lawns and stuff. So the answer is to get more bathrooms, not to criminalize the homeless people for pooping on their lawns when they have nowhere else to go. They don't want to do that, obviously. Right. Who does? And the UN has also said that sanitation is a human right. It's a human right. It's not a privilege for the wealthy. Come on. Bathrooms, showers. So what we're trying to do is institute a program of a check-in center in Venice where the homeless people can put their stuff during the day. A truck comes once a week with showers. Truck comes once a week with washer and dryers, so they're walking around clean. They don't have to guard their stuff all day. They can take care of their medical situations, their legal situations, and try to find a job. Because if they have to sit there and guard their stuff all day, they're stuck.
Right.
They can't move forward.
Right.
So even that simple thing, the gentrifiers in the community are saying, no, we can't have any homeless services in Venice because that will make Venice a mecca.
And we're going to end this video, and then part 2 I'll ask you about Occupy Venice. I'm here with Deborah Lashever the owner of BohemianExchange.org. Thank you, Deborah.